Hi, everybody, and welcome into Inside Sports on LCTV 66. Eric May alongside Nick D'Anastasius, and we are going to be talking some baseball, albeit now we're about a month into the season.
Exactly, right.
And obviously, Nick, everybody coming into the season talking about Bryce Harper, where's he going to end up? We'll save that one for the second segment because I want to divide things up, American League and National League.
Sure.
And I want to start off first with the American League, and of course the defending World Series champion Boston Red Sox. A little slow out of the gate.
Right.
If you're a Red Sox fan, are you concerned?
No, not at all. The Red Sox come into the season, first and foremost, being the defending world champions. They have the experience and start off at the beginning of a season a little bit slow, and knowing they can come back and get hot, they're just about the rest of the year. So many games left to play anyway, you know.
Yeah. And
it's a grind. It's amazing how teams play all those games, you know, that they play a 162-game season before the playoffs even start. But they do it.
Right. Well, and that's I'm kind of in agreement. I think a lot of times people push the panic button a little bit too soon.
Exactly.
You know, because this is not a sprint, it's a marathon. There's a lot of baseball to play before you need to really start pushing the panic button.
Yeah.
But looking at a team in that same division, the New York Yankees, maybe not so much the fact that their wins and losses, because right now they stand in second place, but the amount of injuries that they've sustained early in the season. To me, that's more of a concern because that could have a longer lasting effect.
Exactly. Exactly, Ken, yes.
All right. What about, of course, the Baltimore Orioles coming off a season they'd like to forget a year ago. And, you know, and the thing is, I look at their roster, and I don't really recognize any names. I mean, and unfortunately, the one name that stands out was Chris Davis, and of course, Chris Davis was in the news because of the fact he had gone 54 at bats, I guess, without a hit, carrying over to last season.
Oh my gosh!
But you look at the rest of this Orioles roster, and no real names jump out at me. So this could be a classic example, I think, of a team that's trying to build for the future.
Right, exactly.
You know,
It'll take a while, but Orioles may only be maybe 3 years away from having a pretty good team. Big rebuilding stage.
I mean, they're not playing bad baseball. I mean, it's probably to be about what's expected for a team that's this young. But I guess the question is, do you see the Orioles? Is this a team that's going to lose 100 games again this year? Or do you think that they can actually cut that down and be maybe a 90-loss team?
I think they could cut it down a little bit. They could, absolutely.
So you don't see them losing 100?
No, I don't see that happening. I see them cutting down and getting a little bit better, improving the bill for 2020.
Okay. Well, I mentioned about Bryce Harper and all the talk and the big contract and where he was going to go. But there was another guy that got a pretty nice contract in Mike Trout, and I think a lot of Phillies fans were thinking, okay, he's got one more year and then we'll sign him and he'll come to Philly. Well, it looks as though at this point he's going to stay in L.A. with the Angels in a pretty sizable contract to stay out in L.A. What's your thoughts on Mike Trout?
Yeah. Mike Trout, he's one of the number one great players in baseball. It's really been dominating the last several years in the American League with his bat, home runs, RBIs, all that stuff. They're a very good all-star, outfielder as well, and I can see why the Angels wanted to give him a big long-term contract. So they're hoping he can finish out his career as an Angel before he retires from baseball.
Okay, so now let's just play devil's advocate. Let's say they don't make the postseason this year. Let's look at next year, and let's say that halfway through next season, the Angels are struggling and don't look like they're going to be a playoff contending team. Is it out of the realm of possibility that they might, dangle that carrot out there and see if anybody would be willing to trade for Mike Trout?
It's possible. You never know. I mean, the way today's professional sports world is, you never know anymore. So that's I guess they always might be a possibility. It depends. How many more years Mike Trout wants to remain an Angel. since he loved playing a World Series and winning one, which I can understand why he would. You know,
I mean, if
before he's finished playing one day.
My goodness, if you're already making that kind of money, what else is there but to try and get a World Series?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly
and of
right.
course, being born and raised in New Jersey, I mean, you've seen him at
Yeah.
the Eagles games. Obviously, a Philly
Yeah.
sports fan. I think Phillies fans would love nothing more than to see him in the Phillies pinstripes. But you know, if it would get down to that, they could basically have him out there for a king's ransom, because think about what it would cost the Phillies,
Yeah.
as far as talent and maybe money to pay off for Mike Trout. And again, maybe I'm thinking way too far down the road, but just looking at the way the Angels have played so far this year, let's just say this trend continues.
Right.
You know, they gave him a big contract, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be there the whole time.
That's true. There's a lot of truth to that, and you know, the thing is, if the Phillies were interested in getting Mike Trout sometime next year, the year after, this is only if Mike Trout wants to get out of L.A. and play as a Philly, since he's from Millville, New Jersey, and he's a big Eagles fan. He also uses from baseball. The only thing is how much the Phillies may have to give up to get him. They may have to give up plenty of really good players and prospects just to get that one guy. That's the only thing.
Well, but if you're maybe one player short, or at least they think they're one player short, maybe that's the time that you make the move.
Maybe it is.
Yeah.
Because Trout's still in his prime.
Yeah.
That's a difference, only like late 20s.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yep. Okay. Well, and you know, you look at the American League, and obviously with the Red Sox being the defending world champs, you're going to look at them as a prohibitive favorite as far as the postseason is concerned. But you got the Houston Astros there, who have really turned it up, of course, winning a World Series a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Who do you see getting to the postseason in the American League? Of course, you've got division winners, and then you got the wild card. So who do you see? And I know, again, we're looking months down the road, but I want to make these notes so we can look at this again later in the fall when the season's over, and we'll see how you did with your guesses. Who do you see? All right, let's do it this way.
Sure.
Who do you see winning the AL East?
Well, that's interesting, because one of the great surprises this year, it might become like a Cinderella story, a little bit, would be the Tampa Bay Rays. They're in
Right.
first place American League East, and you know, just a year ago they were doing well. They were okay, but they're a lot better start this year. So, you know, and they're the same. I think they're the same division as the Yankees, right? I think they are. Yes.
Yankees,
Yes.
Red Sox, Blue
Yeah.
Jays. So, who wins the AL East?
Kind of early to tell. I think who that might be. That's a very good question. Because you know, Tampa Bay's hot now off that hot start. It's only a month into the season, and it's 5 months of baseball left to play for all these teams before the playoffs. On top of it, I certainly don't want to. You know, for Tampa Bay to win their division, they got to play really consistent the rest of the year, and can't afford to really fall apart at all. Not even for 1 month, because they got to play an experience team like the Yankees, who won some division titles in their history, and World Series in their history, as you all know. And some of those other really good teams, like the Red Sox in that division. The Reds, of course, is winning the World Series last year, as we know. They won. I think the Red Sox won like 4 World Series during the millennium. That's pretty amazing. Yeah.
So you're going with the Red Sox to win it?
As far as experience, I would probably say that the Red Sox have the advantage, because they're the most experienced, most recent world champion going into this year with
Okay.
dealing with that. That's
All right. The AL Central. Who wins that division?
Isn't that division the Minnesota Twins?
Twins,
Or in
Indians,
first place?
Tigers.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm going to say Cleveland's liable to come back and win that division.
All right. And who wins the West? Astros, Mariners, Rangers, A's, Angels.
Oh, that's a tough one, because the Mariners are off the hot start, first place already in their division.
Yeah, they're scoring a ton of runs, but
Yeah, I don't want to count them out, obviously.
you're still in the same division with the Astros.
Yeah, but I don't want to be counting out the Astros either, for that matter. So I'm going to say probably. Let's see. I'll say the. I'll say the Mariners might win that division if they stay hot, if they don't fall apart.
So do the Astros get in as a wild card?
That's possible.
Okay. And then you got one other wild card. Wow. No, I guess there's two wild cards. Right?
I think there's at least two wild cards.
Yeah.
At least two, right.
All right. Okay. Well, that's early on, so we'll get to the National League then too. But I'm going to throw out I'll throw you a softball one here.
Sure.
This is easy. What year did the Phillies open up Veterans Stadium?
Oh my gosh, that was 1971.
1971 indeed.
Yes.
All right. I'll go one more in here.
Sure.
Let's see if I can throw in another.
Sure.
And I thought of these. I thought, these seem kind of easy, but you know what? It makes you think. And I'll give you the harder ones later. All right.
that's fine.
1972, the Phillies acquired Steve Carlton from the St. Louis Cardinals.
Right.
For who? Who did the Phillies trade to the Cardinals?
Oh, I think I remember now. It was actually a pretty good pitcher. It just wasn't good, quite good. Steve Carlton was.
Well, nobody really was then.
Right. Rick Wise.
Rick Wise is the correct answer. Of course, Rick Wise spending time here in Lancaster.
Yeah.
As the Barnstormers pitching coach a few years ago. So,
Exactly,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, you're 2 for 2. All right. Very good.
Glad I'm off to a good start.
We will get to the National League and look at that division and talk about Bryce Harper as well. And we'll get to that. Inside Sports continues on LCTV 66 right after this.
LCTV 66 is your connection for high school and college sports. Catch the action of your favorite teams in Lancaster County. Coverage of basketball, ice hockey, field hockey, soccer, football, and more. To join the LCTV sports production team or to sponsor or underwrite a sporting event, contact us at info@lctv66.org or call 717-394-LCTV. This is your community, your teams on your local sports channel, Lancaster Community TV.
And welcome back to Inside Sports on LCTV 66. Eric May and Nick DeAnastasius. We've talked American League, and now let's talk some National League. And of course, everybody's thoughts go to the Philadelphia Phillies and the signing of Bryce Harper, albeit very late, I thought, waiting until spring training was already underway. But Nick, you're a Phillies fan. What's your thought on the Bryce Harper signing?
It was a great pickup for him. It's nice, they. I can see why. I can see why he got a big contract. I understand he's a great young ball player and all this and all that, which is understandable. But I just wish they could have, for what they paid him, I wish they could have gotten though also an additional. If Phillies got at least one a good starting pitcher, and maybe one other good position player in the
Like
infield.
Mike Trout?
Yeah, I mean, I meant to go along Bryce Harper
okay.
for $330 million. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying, for a 13-year contract.
All right, so the fact that it's a 13-year deal, does that concern you? That's a long contract, and Phillies fans are right away thinking, okay, now granted he's not the same player, but even then, just not even 10 years ago, the Phillies gave Ryan Howard a very big contract.
I remember that, right, exactly.
And that didn't exactly pan out. Now, granted, Howard went through some injuries as well, but
Right.
as a Phillies fan, you can't help them for thinking, oh, wait a minute here. That's a lot of time for a player to develop bad habits, injuries. Is that really worth it? Is it? And again, Harper's a different player, but is that too much money and too long of a contract?
Well, that's a very good question because it would have made a little more sense if they would give him maybe like a 7 or maybe a 7 or 8 year contract. Would have been great, and give him a huge contract for money. That'd be well deserving.
Okay, so if you give him a 7 or 8, Is it the same amount of money or is it less money? And see, this is all the business side of baseball that makes things very interesting. But the other thing then is, all right, he's got this big contract, long-term contract. What's going to be considered a success for as long as Bryce Harper's in a Phillies uniform? How many pennants? How many World Series?
I guess
what do you think the feeling is?
I guess that there'll be a lot of expectations in that regard because of that. Well, I guess which is understandable, of course. Give him a 13-year contract for $330 million, and there'll be a lot of expect from him. But the whole Phillies team has to do well around him too. The pitching's got to get a lot better, be more consistent, starting relief pitching, and the other hitters got to do their job in the lineup too to help Bryce Harper.
Well, and to the Phillies' credit, they have added some key people this year.
Exactly, they have.
Segura, it's short.
Andrew McCutchen, yeah.
Yeah, and personally, I think really the best signing was Real Muto. They got him from the Marlins.
Yeah.
You get a solid catcher back there to work with the pitching staff, and then what he can do offensively, I think that might have been the best signing that the Phillies might have done this year.
I think it's probably right, yeah. Because it's so critical to have a really good catcher to help your pitching staff go through a long grind of a season like a 162-game season. So,
okay, so
yeah.
you mentioned about the pitching staff. You're not really sold on the pitching staff?
Well,
you got Aaron Nola, Jake Arrieta, Vince Velasquez, Nick Pivetta. Well, no, in fact, Pivetta's gone now, and Zach Eflin.
I actually like most of starting pitchers. They're all pretty good in their craft. I mean, Aaron Nola's a pretty good young starting pitcher. Had a big year in the Phillies last year, and hopefully he'll get back on track this year and really finish strong the rest of the year out in Aaron Nola with his pitching. Get back to Aaron Nola that we saw play last year. Had a great year in the Phillies last season. And Zach Eflin, he's a pretty good young pitcher to his credit, And some of his other guys, I think they should do pretty well too, and hopefully have a good playoff caliber, consistent year.
Okay.
Where they won't fall apart all as a team at one of those months during the season.
Okay. So it's early in the season.
Exactly.
But what would you like to see the Phillies do as far as making this team stronger? What do they need to do to make this team stronger?
At this point, they seem to have a lot of thumpers in the hitting lineup, pretty good pitchers. Not just a matter of them being able to hold up well for an entire year consistently. Hitting, pitching, defense, everything. Relief pitching needs to also do a better job as well and be more consistent. Not just the starting pitching, of course. They need to,
So is this a team that you think will win games, but they're going to win them 8-6? 10-7, there's going to be a lot of high-scoring games, and they're going to give up a lot of runs too? Or do you think that the pitching staff is solid enough that?
Well, it's kind of. I think that can kind of vary. They could go through a hot streak where they're pitching solid and they give up very few runs and when they're share pretty many low-scoring games like 1-0, 2-1, 3-2, 4-3, stuff like that. Games like that. But then also, I see them winning several high-scoring games as well, like 10-7, 9-6, that stuff. 11-8. Well, they're not wrong with that. Hey, they win. It's all that really matters against the end of the day.
That's right. And
not what the scores are.
I thought what's interesting, especially in this first month of the season, you look at the top three pitchers in the National League last year.
Yeah.
With DeGrom winning the Cy Young, Nola and Scherzer. All three of those guys have not gotten off to a good start this year. But again, you're 1 month in. I think once the weather warms up and these pitchers get into a pretty good flow, you're going to see these guys pitching at the level that they did a year ago.
They probably will be. In all likelihood, yes.
Okay. All right. Let's get to the actual divisions, and let's start out west. Okay. Dodgers off to a great start. Do the Dodgers win the NL West, or does somebody sneak up and take it away from them?
If the Dodgers just stay on track, consistent the rest of the year, they're going to lose some here, and of course they all are. They play such a grind, like they play, teams will play all those games like that in a season. I see the Dodgers being a defending National West champions and National League champions. I could see them repeating it and winning the National League West.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to the Central. Brewers had a great year a year ago. Cardinals are always in the mix. The Cubs are still there. Who wins the NL Central?
I'm going to say, okay. Please just repeat that one more time.
Cardinals, Cubs,
that's right.
Brewers, and then
Cardinals,
you get the
Cubs, Brewers.
Pirates and Reds.
Oh,
but
that's right.
I think
Cardinals,
the
Cubs,
first
Brewers.
three are the ones that are probably going to be
Yeah.
fighting it out. And that should be a good race.
Yeah.
Who do you see winning it?
I see the Brewers possibly taking that division.
Okay, all right, so you're going to say Brewers.
Yeah. Let me know what the wild cards you want to pick.
Well,
The
all
wild
right.
cards.
Well, first we got to pick a division winner in the
you
NL
got
East.
it. Exactly.
All right.
Right.
So do you have your homer hat on, or is there somebody besides the Phillies that's going to win this division? Do the Mets win it? Do the Braves win it? Do the Nationals win it? I'm not going to say the Marlins because that's really taking a shot in the dark. But
Yeah.
so who wins the NL East?
That's kind of a toss-up. You know what I mean? It's just because the Mets are right there on track with the Phillies, just below them by only a game and a half. Mm-hmm. You know?
Walk the plank, Nick. Who's gonna win it? Who's gonna win the East?
I'll say that the Phillies will play well enough to win the East. But
Okay.
it won't be by much.
Okay. All right. So now I need wild card winners. Who's going to win wild card?
I can see the Mets definitely near at least as a wild card team. At least the Mets.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Who's another wild card winner? And there's a lot. I mean, this could be a lot of fun this year. You got the Braves, the Nationals, Cardinals, Cubs, Padres, Diamondbacks could.
Yeah.
Who do you see as another wild card team?
I could see the Braves, Diamondbacks. Yeah. I'll say the. I don't want to count the Cardinals out. They might be a wild card as a possibility.
All right. I'll put you down for a wild card. All right. So let's go one step further. Who's playing in the World Series?
Well, let's see. I picked the Dodgers to win their division. Picked the Phillies to win their division.
You have Dodgers, Brewers, Phillies, Red Sox, Indians, Mariners.
Well, I don't know if the Phillies are a World Series team this year. I'm not quite sure about that one.
Okay.
So I'm going to say it's possible it could be it might be the Dodgers again going to the World Series in the National League because the experience again in the World Series 2 years in a row, they could make it 3 years in a row. They're very good. They're solid foundation because experience getting there.
Do we have a rematch with the Red Sox, or is there somebody else from the American League?
Well, let's see. Is there American League teams you mentioned with it?
You said Red Sox, Indians, Mariners, Astros.
I would probably say the Red Sox could be the big favorite. They could have a rematch in the World Series again. There's a possibility.
Okay. All right. And we'll see if that comes to fruition. All right. Here we go. What team did the Phillies beat in the 1980 National League Championship Series to get to the World Series?
Oh, that was the Houston Astros, right?
That was indeed the Houston Astros.
And that had been in 5 games.
That was in 5 games.
Right, yeah.
All right, now it's going to get a little tougher here. What Philly led the team in home runs in 2002? He hit 37 home runs.
In 2002.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Certainly wasn't Mike Schmidt. Mike Schmidt retired in 1989. No, it wasn't him.
Yep.
think it was. Oh, I don't think it was Jim Thome. Jim Thome, I don't think was with the Phillies yet. So that takes
A fan favorite among the females.
What's that?
He was a fan favorite among the female Philly fans.
Oh, would that be Pat Burrell?
That was Pat Burrell.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, indeed. All right. What pitcher represented the Phillies in the 1973 All-Star game? There was one pitcher. I found this hard to believe, but
I see only one Philly in the 1973 All-Star
Yeah.
team. Okay, I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna say it was Wayne Twitchell.
it was Wayne Twitchell. First one I'm thinking of is Steve Carlton, but
Yeah. Steve
Yeah.
Carlton's a very good guess because he won a Cy Young in 1972 with the
Yep.
Phillies. Had that incredible year, 27-10.
yeah,
Yeah.
Twitchell went 13-9 that year. All right, here's the last one. There were two Phillies that played for both pennant-winning teams in 1983 and 1993. One was Darren Dalton. Who was the other one?
That's right. Darren Dalton, 1983 and 1993.
Right.
Well,
And there was
1993, they had John Kruk. Was he the one?
Nope. This guy is still involved with the Phillies today, but it wasn't John Kruk.
It wasn't John Kruk. Okay. I think that might be instead. I'm thinking it might be. It might be one of their announcers.
Well, give me an answer.
The last name's Anderson. I remember his first
Larry
name.
Anderson.
Larry Anderson.
You
That's
are right. Very man, Nick. 6 for 6 today. Very good.
I'm happy about
Very
that,
good.
yeah.
All right. So you're saying Dodgers and Red Sox in a World Series rematch.
Only because of recent World Series experience and know how to get there that far as it is to a long grind season in the past couple of years.
Okay, now do we take one more step? Who is the World Series champion then? You pick the two teams, now you got to pick the winner. I don't need how many games, just give me a winner.
Oh, okay. I'm going to say, I'll say this year, it's going to, it could be the Dodgers. Third time's a charm.
All right, so the Dodgers are the World Series champs in 2019. All right. We have it all. We have it on tape, and we got it here on paper.
Exactly.
So we'll see how you did. All right, very good. Well, that's going to wrap up our baseball session here on Inside Sports LCTV 66. For Nick Anastasius, I'm Eric May. Thanks for joining us.